each other. However, if they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 7 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm James, I'm 21 years old, I'm from Teddington in southwest London and I'm on a gap year after university.
I'm Beryl, I'm 65, I'm a retired receptionist from Ongar in Essex.
I'm Geoffrey, I'm a 42-year-old legal advisor from Swansea.
I'm Katie, I'm 21, I'm from Stafford, I'm a medical student at UCL.
I'm Ed, I'm 34 years old, I'm an education welfare officer from Streatham Hill in London.
I'm Nicola, I'm 28, I'm a financial consultant and I'm from Suffolk.
I'm John, I'm 58 and I'm a motor trader from Benfleet in Essex.
I'm Sue, I'm 45, I'm a trade consultant from Newcastle upon Tyne.
Now, the rules in each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £2,500 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 8 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 2.5 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. First question is for £50. Start the clock. Beryl, which famous pop artist once said, "In the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes"?
Oh, pass, sorry.
Andy Warhol. Geoffrey, according to the nursery rhyme, whose cupboard was so bare that she couldn't feed her dog?
Old Mother Hubbard.
Correct. Katie, in astronomy, what P is the 9th planet from the sun?
Pluto.
Correct. Ed, in cookery, white, basmati and wild are all types of which grain?
Rice.
Correct. Nicola, what S is a woolly farm animal, the male of which is called a ram?
Sheep.
Correct. John, in pop music, complete the title of this Madonna song, Crazy for...
Love.
You. Sue, in food, what C is the British name given to a wafer-thin slice of potato that has been fried and is eaten cold as a snack?
Crisp.
Correct. James, who is St Christopher the patron saint of?
Pass.
Travellers. Beryl, in nature, which small yellow and white flowers traditionally join together to make a chain?
Daisy.
Correct. Geoffrey, in animal classification, were dinosaurs reptiles or mammals?
Reptiles.
Correct. Katie, in music, which Scottish singer had her first UK hit in 1964 with the cover of the song Shout?
Lulu.
Correct. Ed, Eeyore the donkey featured in which series of children's books?
Winnie the Pooh.
Correct. Nicola, what colour does William Wallace paint his face in the 1995 film Braveheart?
Red.
Blue. John, in food, what G is the collective term for the parts of a chicken which are removed before cooking and often used for stock?
Giblets.
Correct. Sue, in an orchestra, which family of musical instruments are normally played with a bow?
The strings.
I'll accept strings, the violin family. James, according to the proverb, a trouble shared is a trouble what?
Halved.
Correct. Beryl, in science, what sound is caused by air expanding rapidly as it's heated by flashes of lightning?
Combustion.
Thunder. Geoffrey, in the TV series The Muppet Show, what sort of animal was the piano-playing Rolf?
A dog.
Correct. Katie, complete the title of the John le Carre's 1963 novel The Spy Who Came In From...
The Cold.
Correct.
Bank.
Ed, in maths, add the number of sides of an octagon to the number of months of the year.
Sorry, repeat again, please.
In maths, add the number of sides of an octagon to the number of months of the year.
20.
Correct. Nicola, in the animal kingdom, spotted camel was the name given by the Romans to which African mammal?
Camel.
Giraffe. John,
Bank.
in the human biology, eczema is a condition that affects which part of the
Skin.
body? Time is up. The correct answer was skin. And in that first round, you banked a very disappointing £600 out of the 2,500 you could have won. Whose edges have already started to fray? Is someone here the dandelion on the lawn of intelligence? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off The weakest link.
Ed is the first strongest link according to the statistics. Beryl is the weakest link, but at this early stage of the game, will the others have picked up on this?
OK, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Beryl.
Nicola.
Beryl.
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 Well, you certainly seem to have got the hang of working as a team. James, what do you do?
I'm in my gap year. I don't actually work at the moment.
What are you going to do in your gap year?
I'm going to go travelling.
Are you? Do you think you'd better make a friend of St Christopher then? Who you've never heard of.
Quite possibly.
Had enough of Beryl?
I haven't had enough of Beryl. I think Beryl's a very nice
You
lady.
voted for her?
Yeah, well, she was very hesitant. I think she's very nervous.
John, what do you do?
Motor trader.
What does that mean?
Sell
You sell
cars,
cars?
yes.
Right. Don't like Madonna?
Don't know Madonna very well.
Really? That must be a drawback.
It is.
What sort of cars do you sell?
Not one she wants to buy.
So boring cars?
Yes, very
You're a
boring.
boring motor trader?
I am indeed very boring.
Right. Why Beryl?
I think she was a little bit hesitant and she got a couple of questions
But
wrong.
not boring?
Not boring, not in the
No.
least.
You're not boring, Beryl, but you're bad at answering questions.
I am, Anne, sorry.
7 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh, I felt absolutely terrible being voted off first in the weakest link. I knew the answer to the Andy Warhol question. I just couldn't say it. I was so cross with myself. I just could not believe that my 15 minutes of fame has ended like this.
Round 2. So far you've bagged £600. Hardly impressive. Out of £2,500 you could have won. 7 of you left. You have lost Beryl, but you've still got John, who sells boring cars that Madonna wouldn't want to buy. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's you, Ed. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Ed, in Greek mythology, the Gorgon's hair consisted of what type of creatures?
Snakes.
Correct, Nicola. What W is the popular name for the gas capsule intended to make canned beer taste like draft?
Widgets.
Correct, John. Complete the title of the 1993 film starring Mel Gibson, The Man Without a what?
Face.
Correct, Sue. In athletics, Roger Black was known for running which distance? 100, 400 or 800 metres?
400 metres.
Correct, James. In human biology, what N is the name given to the flat and horny coverings on the upper surface of the fingers and toes?
Nails.
Correct, Jeffrey.
Bank.
In children's TV, Sandy and Bud were characters in which Florida-based drama about a dolphin?
Flipper.
Correct, Katie. Who played Neo in the 1999 science fiction film The Matrix?
Keanu Reeves.
Correct, Ed. If a dress costing £100 is discounted by 20%, how much will it cost?
£80.
Correct, Nicola. In nature, what S is a mollusk commonly found in the garden that has a protective shell covering its body?
Snail.
Correct, John.
Bank.
In pop music, who duetted with Janet Jackson on the 1992 hit The Best Things in Life Are Free, Luther Vandross or Lionel Richie?
Lionel Richie.
Luther Vandross. Sue, what B is a game where players attempt to match the numbers on their cards with the ones produced from a machine by a caller?
Bingo.
Correct, James. In humans, what T is the part of the body associated with the word guttural?
Throat.
Correct, Jeffrey. According to the Bible, how many days was Jonah in the belly of the great fish, 3 or 11?
11.
3. Katie, if the dimensions of an office floor are 8 metres by 9 metres, what is the area of the floor in square metres?
72.
Correct, Ed. In the animal kingdom, what is produced by the spinnerets of a spider?
A web.
Silk, but I'll accept web. Nicola, in the children's TV programme, who only came out to play when Andy, Pandy and Teddy weren't looking?
Pass.
Luby Lou. John, in medicine, is hypertension a condition of high blood pressure or low blood pressure?
High blood pressure.
Correct, Sue. In science, coke, gas, tar and oil are all byproducts of the processing of which fossil fuel?
Oil.
Coal. James, who is the Oscar-winning daughter of Judy Garland and Vincente Minnelli?
Liza Minnelli.
Correct, Jeffrey. In the animal kingdom, what C is a ground squirrel with a black and white striped back native to North America?
Don't know.
Chipmunk. Time is up, and you have woken up. Only 5 questions answered incorrectly, and you banked £1,500. But who is not overburdened with answers? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
James is the strongest link statistically. The weakest link is Geoffrey, as he only answered one of his questions correctly. But will the voting follow the facts?
OK, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Geoffrey.
Nicola.
John.
Geoffrey.
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 So, where are you from?
Newcastle upon Tyne.
And what was the answer to the question you couldn't answer?
It was coal.
And you're from Newcastle?
Yeah, and they carry the coal to Newcastle.
What did Geoffrey do to upset you?
He got some questions wrong.
Where are you from, Ed?
Streatham Hill.
Right, and what do you do?
An education welfare officer.
That's very impressive. And why Geoffrey?
Well, I know Geoffrey's very strong, but he did have a bad round that round, so I felt he was the one that had to go.
Right. Well, you did bank £1,000, Geoffrey, but it hasn't saved you because statistically you were the weakest link. And with 5 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Being voted off is an awful feeling. I had a mare, I knew I had a mare, but I knew that I was better than those out there. In fact, there's people who are in the Premier League who are more intelligent than that lot out there.
Round 3, and in the bank, £2,100. There are 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's James. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. James, in which sport would you find the positions silly mid-on and short leg?
Cricket.
Correct. Katie, which star sign would you have if you were born on the 13th of September?
Virgo.
Correct.
Bank.
Ed, which American actor interviews a vampire in the 1994 film starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt.
Christian Slater. Nicola, in geography, what A is a tourist resort and port near Benidorm in southeastern Spain?
Pass.
Alicante. John, in the animal kingdom, what O is an aquatic mammal that lives in a holt?
Pass.
Otter. Sue, in classical music, a countertenor is what type of voice, male or female?
It's male.
Correct. James, in the UK, when wiring a plug, what colour is the neutral wire?
Brown.
Blue. Katie, in football, which club temporarily shared Main Road with Manchester City between 1941 and 1949 because of bomb damage to their own ground?
Manchester United.
Correct. Ed, which Irish DJ and TV presenter's autobiography is entitled Is It Me?
Kenny Everett.
Terry Wogan. Nicola, in geography, which country is further south, Singapore or Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka.
Singapore. John, in human biology, how is the umbilicus more commonly known?
Called.
Navel. Sue, in the animal kingdom, what's the name given to a male hare or rabbit?
It's a buck.
Correct. James, in nature, what M is a type of grass with very small seeds often fed to budgies?
Pass.
Millet. Katie, in music, is Tchaikovsky's The Sleeping Beauty an opera or ballet?
A ballet.
Correct. Ed, in law, what E is the crime of fraudulently retaining money or goods entrusted to you?
Extortion.
Embezzlement. Nicola, in geography, which country lies along the western coast of Scandinavia?
Norway.
Correct. John, in nature, a sudden torrent of water caused by a heavy downpour of rain is known as a what flood?
A flash flood.
Flash flood. Correct. Sue,
Bank.
northeastern fishermen nickname which animal a grunter because they believe saying its name would bring bad luck?
Pig.
Correct. James, Michelangelo and which
Bank.
other famous Italian artists were commissioned to paint battle scenes? Time is up. If you want to bank, James, you must do so before I've read half the question. In total, and certainly without James's addition, you won a miserable, pathetic, unimpressive £200 in that round. Who is clearly past their best? Who has more ambition than talent? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Sue is the strongest link because she answered all of her questions correctly and banked money. Ed is now the weakest link as he failed to answer any of his questions correctly. But who will lose out in the vote?
Okay, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Ed.
Ed.
John.
James.
Ed.
Ed.
James, you've been to university for how long?
3 years.
And you've got a degree, and you don't know how to wire a plug.
I forgot.
Why, Ed?
Well, I noticed that Ed didn't get any questions right.
Katie, what do you do?
I'm a medical student.
Right. So what would happen to him if he mixed up the colours of the plug wires?
Oh, it would be something quite shocking.
And would you be able to save his life?
Probably not.
Right. Well, you
We haven't done that yet.
Haven't done that yet. Why, Ed?
Well, although I wouldn't describe Ed as the dandelion on the lawn of intellect, he did have a very bad round, even though he was the strongest link in the first round. But unfortunately, he got the questions wrong, he lost his money, he has to go.
I think that makes it quite clear. Ed, Katie's certainly not prepared to save you. And nor are 3 other people. With 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel my performance started very strongly. I'm disappointed that I was knocked out in the 3rd round because I wanted to go much further than that. The person who I think I'd least want to win is Katie. She's quite ruthless. She's picking off the opposition one by one, and you know, she's swooping on the next person right now as we speak.
Round 4, £2,300 in the bank out of potential prize money now of £7,500. There are 5 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Sue. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Sue, in science, what colour flame does sodium produce when burnt?
Blue.
Yellow. James, in geography, Mount Godwin-Austen in the Karakoram range is more commonly known by which letter and number?
K2.
Correct, Katie. Which pop star caused a stir in 2000 when he appeared to peel off his skin in his video Rock DJ?
Robbie Williams.
Correct, Nicola. In nature, what is a bird able to do when it has fledged?
Fly.
Correct, John. In horse racing, what D is a famous flat race for 3-year-olds run over 1.5 miles at Epsom in early June?
Derby.
Correct, Sue.
Bank.
Is the highway that runs north from Brisbane called the Bruce Highway or the Sheila Highway?
The Bruce Highway.
Correct, James. In literature, Jim Hawkins is the narrator of which Robert Louis Stevenson novel?
Treasure Island.
Correct, Katie. In maths, how long would it take to travel 110 miles at 55 miles an hour?
Pass.
2 hours. Nicola, in politics, which environmental pressure group has the initials FOE?
Friends of the Earth.
Correct, John. In biology, Italian anatomist Gabriel Fallopius gave his name to which part of a female mammal's internal organs?
Fallopian tubes.
Correct, Sue. What is the longest river in France?
The Loire.
Correct, James.
Bank.
In art, rounds, mops and flats are all types of which tool?
Hammer.
Brush. Katie, which city in Switzerland was designated as the European Centre of the United Nations in 1947?
Geneva.
Correct, Nicola. What is the name of Kirk Douglas's actor-producer son who starred in the film Fatal Attraction?
Michael Douglas.
Correct, John. In geography, which has the greater area, France or the state of Texas?
Texas.
Correct, Sue. In the animal kingdom, after a koala is born, where on its mother's body is it carried?
In the pouch.
Correct, James. In history, what was the nickname of Tsar Peter I of Russia?
Pass.
Peter the Great. Katie, in religion, what K is the name of the Hindu and Buddhist idea that past actions determine a person's fate?
Karma.
Correct, Nicola. What type of sport is played annually at the Orange Bowl in Miami?
Super Bowl.
Time is up. The correct answer is American football, and after all that work, you banked £1,250. Remember, he who dithers needs to be ditched. She who hesitates is no use whatsoever. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Nicola is the strongest link according to the statistics. The weakest link is James, as he answered 2 of his questions incorrectly. But will the other players have noticed this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Katie.
James.
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 Nicola, what do you do?
I'm a financial consultant.
Not in any other country, I hope.
Absolutely not.
No, because your geography is not very good, is it?
Not too hot.
No. Are there any subjects you are good at?
Loads.
Right. I hope we come across some of them. Why James?
I remember him getting more wrong than anybody else in that round.
Right. He banked £700, of course, but not enough to save him. James, we'll send you off on your gap year a bit earlier than you might have expected. With 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Being voted off as the weakest link unanimously is pretty disappointing. I was hoping someone might stick up for me. But, you know, I mean, I don't think I did very well in that round. I think it's a slippery slope. The last round had been bad and this round was even worse, so I don't think I could have too many complaints on it.
Round 5, and with a great deal of struggle, you've got your total up to £3,550. There are 4 of you left. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Nicola. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Nicola, in pop, which of the Beatles said the Beatles can't save the world? We'll be lucky if we can save ourselves.
John Lennon.
George Harrison. John. In British banking, the lowest rate of interest payable on loans and which acts as the benchmark for other interest rates is called the what?
The minimum lending rate.
Base rate. Sue, who invented the clockwork radio in 1993?
That would be Trevor... No, pass.
Trevor Bayliss. Katie. Did the 1919 Sex Disqualification Removal Act enable women to work in all professions or to vote?
All professions.
Correct. Nicola. In comics, Walter the Softy was regularly tormented by which naughty child?
Pass.
Dennis the Menace. John, who wrote the play The Cocktail Party in 1949?
Howard.
T.S. Eliot. Sue, what honour did actor Alec Guinness receive from the Queen in 1959?
A knighthood.
Correct. Katie, in literature, in which E.M. Forster novel written in 1924 does the character Dr. Aziz appear?
Morris.
A Passage to India. Nicola, which 1982 science fiction film starring Harrison Ford had the tagline, "Man has made his match, now it's his problem"?
Star Wars.
Blade Runner. John, in human biology, the villi are found projecting from the walls of the small what?
Intestine.
Correct. Sue.
Bank.
What is the capital city of Malaysia?
Kuala Lumpur.
Correct. Katie, in football, Gianfranco Zola played for which country at international level?
Italy.
Correct. Nicola, in geography, near which coastal resort in South Devon would you find Kent's Cavern?
Pass.
Torquay. John, what term is used when a beam of light spreads, deflection or diffraction?
Diffraction.
Correct. Sue, in the Harry Potter books, the Hogwarts Express leaves from which London train station?
Waterloo.
Time is up. The correct answer is King's Cross, and that was pretty pitiful indeed. You only answered 6 questions correctly, and you won £150. Whose mouth is in gear, but their brain is in neutral? Who is costing you money? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Sue is the strongest link for the second time. Nicola has gone from strongest link to weakest link, although she did bank money for the team. But would it be enough to save her?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Nicola.
John.
Nicola.
Nicola.
Dr. Katie.
Mrs. Robinson.
Why Nicola?
Sadly, it was a bad round for Nicola, and out of all the people, I'm afraid that's the one that most took my mind with the questions incorrect.
Right. You would have known the answers, would you?
Of course.
John!
Yes.
Those boring cars you sell, do they all pay cash for them?
No. No, some people have finance.
Do they?
Yes.
Well, they don't take any advice from you, do they, when
I
they
shouldn't
get in
think so.
finance? You never heard of the base rate?
I have.
Right. Why Nicola?
I think she had a worse round than anybody else, although I think we all had poor rounds.
What is it you do, Nicola?
I'm a financial consultant.
Are you? And where do you do that consulting?
In Harrow.
Do you?
Yes.
Right. I suppose there's not much to talk to the clients about except finances.
All sorts of things, all sorts of
Are there?
subjects.
Well, be careful when you're talking to them about pop music or comics or films or the animal kingdom or TV or geography, because you don't know anything about any of those, do you?
All a bit before my time, I think.
Oh, right. Well, we'll send you off for some more knowledge. With 3 votes, you are the weakest link.
Well, being voted off is a bit of a nightmare at that stage because you really think you're going to win. But I wasn't first, so that's brilliant. My mother is in the audience and my mother knows everything. And as soon as I get out of here today, she's going to tell me how dumb I am.
Round 6, you have £3,700 in the bank out of the £12,500 you could have won by now. There are 3 of you left. Katie, the medical student who can't add up, John, the car dealer who knows nothing about finance, and Sue from Newcastle, who has very little knowledge of coal. Another 10 seconds coming off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Sue. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Sue, complete the title of the year 2000 martial arts film, Crouching Tiger, Hidden what?
Dragon.
Correct. Katie, in politics, to what British party did Sir Anthony Eden belong?
The Conservative Party.
Correct. John, in language, what is the English translation for the Spanish word mañana?
Good day.
Tomorrow. Sue, in Christianity, in which month of the year is Epiphany celebrated?
January.
Correct. Katie, which British actress was born Brenda Bottle in 1946 and was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for her performance in the film Saving Grace?
Brenda Blethyn.
Correct. John, what was the name given to the nighttime German air raids during World War II?
Blitz.
Correct. Sue, in children's literature, who wrote the Paddington Bear books?
Bond, Michael Bond.
Correct. Katie, in science, what D is a mass of substance per unit of volume?
Density.
Correct. John, was Prometheus a figure in Greek or Roman mythology?
Greek.
Correct. Sue, in the Rocky series of films starring Sylvester Stallone, what was Rocky's surname?
Balboa.
Correct. Katie, in science, how many states of matter are there?
3.
Correct. John, what is the name of the US evangelist who has been touring the world on his crusade since 1950?
Billy Graham.
Correct. Sue, complete the title of this John Irving novel, A Prayer for Who?
Meany. Russell Meany.
No, the answer is Owen Meany. Katie, in TV, which Dad's Army character observed that they don't like it up 'em?
Pass.
Lance Corporal Jack Jones. John, in history, the East India Company was founded in 1600 to trade in what?
Silks.
Spices. Sue, a candle has a 50-hour burn time. How many hours has it left to burn if 1/5? Time is up. I cannot complete the question, and you banked £500. Now, in round 7, you get the chance to double what you bank, and that means in the next round, there's £5,000 to be won. The question is, who has outstayed their welcome? Who is well past their best? Who is least likely to raise that bank balance? Have the courage to keep on your biggest rival. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Katie is the strongest link statistically. John is the weakest link as he answered 2 of his questions incorrectly. But at this crucial stage of the game, who will lose out in the vote?
OK, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
John.
Katie.
Katie.
Sue, what do you do?
I'm a training consultant.
Are you? What do you train?
I train people in customer service, management and development skills, that kind of thing.
Right, so you have to be fair and honest.
Yes.
So why have you voted off the strongest link?
Because I'm a contestant on the weakest link and it's my job.
John, why have you voted off the strongest link?
Well, I didn't realise Katie was the strongest. To be honest, I thought Sue was the strongest.
Right. Katie banked £500.
I'm obviously wrong.
Not for the first time this
Oh,
evening.
I shouldn't think, or the last.
No. Dr. Katie, you were the strongest link in that round, and you were the strongest link overall in the game. If you come across John or Sue in your hospital when you've done enough years, we won't blame you once you've learnt how to save lives if you don't bother with either of them. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am absolutely gutted. I got 3 questions incorrect in the entire game. As answered, I was the strongest player in the entire game, the strongest link in that round. I asked Sue earlier what she wanted to spend the prize money on. She's going to spend it on a holiday. Such frippery is outrageous. I was going to spend my earnings, if I won, on funding my education, on all the debts as being a student, and I think it's very sad, very shallow, and rather evil of the other two to victimise me. I was robbed, what can I say? I mean, I think Sue's going to win at the end of the day, but after all, it's tainted money.
Round 7. So far, you've won £4,200 out of a possible £15,000. John and Sue, just the two of you left, and now you have only 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be doubled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £5,000 is at stake in this round. You've voted off the strongest link, so we start with the second strongest link from the last round. That's Sue. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Sue, in music, in which country was the Philadelphia Orchestra founded in 1900?
This country, England.
No, in United States. John, in geography, Panama lies between Costa Rica and which other country?
Paraguay.
Colombia. Sue, in UK politics, what was John Major's position in the Conservative government just before becoming party leader?
Foreign Secretary.
Chancellor of the Exchequer. John, in geography, the Republic of Ireland is divided into how many provinces?
5.
4. Sue, in science, is iron an element or an alloy?
It's an element.
Correct. John, which actor has starred in the films Donnie Brasco, Edward Scissorhands and Sleepy Hollow?
Al Pacino.
Johnny Depp. Sue, in which decade was the Rugby Super League set up?
In the 90s.
Correct. John, in past times, what do tegestologists collect from pubs?
Beer mats.
Correct. Sue,
Bank.
which Lancashire fishing port stands at the mouth of the River Wyre?
Hull.
Fleetwood. John, in pop music, whose 1986 album was entitled Graceland?
Presley.
Paul Simon. Sue, what would you be watching at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Flushing Meadows?
Tennis.
Correct. John, during which century did Christopher Marlowe write the drama Dr. Faustus?
17th.
16th. Sue, in history, the 19 propositions designed to limit the power of the Crown were presented to which monarch in 1642?
Charles II.
Charles I. John, in the animal
Hank.
kingdom, what is the largest mammal native to the UK? The red... Time is up. You answered just 4 questions correctly and you won £100. Never mind, we'll double that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £4,400. But of course, only one of you can take that money away, so now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, John and Sue, for £4,400, let's play the weakest link. Sue, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'd like to go first, please.
Sue, formed in 1993, which famous all-girl pop group was managed by Simon Fuller between 1995 and 1997?
Spice Girls.
That is the correct answer. John.
Yes.
In the 1980s children's TV series, what colour was Roland Rat's Ratmobile?
Red.
Correct answer is pink. Sue. In football, which London club is nicknamed the Eagles?
Fulham.
The correct answer is Crystal Palace. John. Who took over as Secretary of State for Northern Ireland following the resignation of Peter Mandelson in January 2001?
I can't think.
The correct answer is John Reid. Sue. What is the capital city of the Philippines?
Manila.
That is the correct answer. John. In film, which famous British actor and comedian starred as Norman Pitkin in The Square Peg and On the Beat?
Norman Wisdom.
That is the correct answer. Sue. What is the title of Irish singer Ronan Keating's autobiography?
Now I'm famous.
The correct answer is Life is a Roller Coaster. John, to draw level. The American inventor Elisha Graves Otis patented which steam-powered carrying machine in 1861?
Elevator.
That is the correct answer. So you're level pegging. To take the lead, Sue. In the human body, where are the bones known as the metatarsals?
In the feet.
That is the correct answer. John, you need to answer this question correctly to remain in the game. In art, how many paintings did the artist Vincent van Gogh sell in his lifetime?
None.
The correct answer is 1. That means, Sue, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £4,400. John, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, I was very delighted to get as far as I did in any case. So losing is not as bad as it would appear.
John was just a really good sport and got on really well with him.
At the end of the day, the best person won.
It's fabulous. It's a great feeling. I could recommend it to anybody. When she said, you're the strongest link, I just wanted to go, yes, I've done it. Yeah, it was great. Loved it.